You're listening to the All Night Society, an actual play podcast brought to you by Queen's Court Games.
A night of calamitous consequences. Pouring a list of questions that now stretch out onto the ink-stained sky, blending in the distance between that which is above and the lake which laps frozen nearby at your feet. The coterie arriving at the surface to a text message, as ominous as it is short. Thanks. We know who the message is from, and we know there will be a meeting to attend to tomorrow night. But in the meantime, there's still a great many thoughts and feelings, no doubt, roiling through 4 separate little kindred brains. We've given you a long walk from the tunnels below to the surface above to consider those feelings, to ruminate on them, to process and collate and synchronize. And now, as the claustrophobic pressure of the tunnel opens up to the sky, so too do we remove the lid from this simmering pot of introspection. Let's begin in that immediate moment when Ivy looks up from the phone, reads the message to all of you. There's a nice heavy beat. 4 pairs of eyes exchanging glances between one another, and then an exclamation or an interjection or a sigh from somebody. Who is that somebody?
Son of a bitch.
An emotion you are no doubt all feeling, although perhaps for different reasons. Between you and me, Calamity, can you explain the driving emotional force?
I'm not even supposed to be here. Fuck. My dumb ass had one fucking job. Come in, take care of the lupines, get my money and go, and I let myself get caught up, and now it feels like the trap's closing in around me.
You said it would be fine if you broke your rule this one time, and lo and behold, the thing that made you make the rule in the first place occurred. It's a cruel universe that springs that trap on you immediately.
We are insular creatures for a reason. I understand the purpose of a coterie. I understand the desire to have people to watch your back, but there's a reason it was just me and Martin. And there's a reason that it was just me. I can't believe at my big age, I still fucking forgot it.
Well, there'll be time enough to learn that lesson anew, no doubt. But Calamity has broken the tension. What other thoughts come bubbling to the surface?
I don't like being used.
Were you used?
Used, played. It doesn't really matter how you couch it. I don't like being glibly thanked for this as if they knew the whole fucking time.
You, of all people, I think would have the strongest leg to stand on here. It doesn't matter if PKJ manipulated you into doing something you wanted to do anyway.
It's not the point, it's the principle of the thing.
Ah, right. Sometimes I forget you're a Lasombra.
Even if it's something I would have and did enjoy doing, it's that I didn't catch it first. Shouldn't have been this easy to get all of the information we needed to find Newberry, even with Anastasia. Fuck.
But you were so caught up in the thrill of getting what you wanted, you didn't pause to consider how easy it was.
You'd think I'd know better by now.
People who wouldn't know any better by now, some of us are having our first experience with this kind of manipulation. Alex, I recall a very pointed speech, a bit unhappy about the way you were treated by various parties in this new midnight world you inhabit. How have those feelings pickled on your ascent to the surface?
Weird. Weirdly familiar. Getting a text that says thanks feels like a passive aggressive text from an ex-girlfriend, you know, when you're trying to have a conversation and doing your best and they just go, okay, thanks. And it feels just as pointed too. I understand that we were played. I understand that we were used. And to what I've learned so far, I understand that's supposed to be how this works. We're supposed to use one another, right? That's the game. But it gets exhausting, right? When you're doing your best and people just think that they can still treat you like you're not. And it's exhausting. And it's a kind of tired that I don't know how to shake off just yet. And it's a kind of tired where I don't know where my feet are going to land me just yet.
I'm sorry to say, but if you're tired now, I have really bad news for the next few hundred years. But it can't be all bad. These thoughts are based in a world where being used and ordered around by people who see no need to explain themselves is unusual. For some of us, that is the ordinary night-to-night way of things. Ivy LaRue. Same shit, different boss, right? Not the pyramid this time around, but if anyone here were used to being forced to pursue machinations without explanation, it would be you.
Here's the thing. If you're given an order by your regent, you are doing that for your regent who is doing a thing for their lord, who's doing it for their pontifex, and so on and so forth down the chain. It's that whole devil you know. Yeah, there's a lot of secrets within the pyramid, but you know that typically everything that you do is for the betterment of the pyramid. And that's what I am working towards. That's my goal, is to help rebuild the pyramid. Prince Jackson, obviously he wants to make Chicago this amazing beacon for the Camarilla, but the Camarilla hasn't always been great to the Tremere. My loyalties are with Tremere first, Camarilla second. I don't like reporting to the second in command. That's all.
I wouldn't call him that to anyone else if just a little tip from me to you.
No. Never. I'm not that dumb.
Well, having established how everyone feels, we can turn then to a slightly more difficult question, which is, what is everyone going to do about it? You have free reign to rail against the Prince of Chicago or the entire structure of vampire life in your brain. But we've all had experience with institutions and systems of power that are too large and too sticky to operate outside of. What's another one? At this point, the only thing worse than the way you feel now is the way you will be made to feel if you miss this meeting. It's going to be a long 20-ish hours. Let's make it easier, though. Let's start with the next 20 minutes. I know Ivy had the whole itinerary printed out, like MapQuest directions from the 90s. Now that we've accomplished our goal, I don't think we need that list anymore, but perhaps the team mom has a plan? Or is this an instance where Alex's ability to pierce the veil and web of kindred machinations to offer a plain, simple, and effective solution comes to bear?
Maybe this is the gangrel in me, but I think the first thing I'm going to do is walk as close to the water's edge as I can and just appreciate the fact that there is open air and open sky.
This water, perhaps the only thing nearby colder than your skin, than your unbeating heart, stretching out an entire horizon. In the day, the water goes so far that you might as well be standing next to the ocean, impossible to see across. But at night here, black lake and black sky blurring together in the distance, two barely imperceptibly different shades of black. You have traded the sensation of not enough space, perhaps, for too much space.
At least this gives me somewhere to go. Endless horizon. God damn it, I need my fucking car back.
There's a metaphor lurking somewhere in there if you want to go digging for it.
I wasn't burdened with an overabundance of school and storyteller. It's not exactly my forte. I'll push my feet into the gravel, into the sand, and appreciate the fact that it's there. I'm no longer trapped. Well,
No longer trapped in that way.
I'm going to continue to look at my phone as I just kind of walk throughout the night air, kind of taking all this in, my thumb awkwardly tapping it, looking for some solution that I can't ironically get my thumb on.
Anything interesting on Instagram in the meantime?
It's the same 15 attractive bikini models that I follow in hopes that maybe I'll say something witty and they'll hit me up in the DMs. I don't know if I can even do that anymore. DMs, I mean. I don't know. Anyway. Hey, everyone. I know, but I think maybe we need to talk to someone about this directly. I'm sure that's where we're going. I'm sure we're going to get a debrief, but I mean, we're all pretty pissed about this, but we've also shown how capable we are. I mean, that's got to count for something. If we want to, and I kind of look over at Calamity, if we want to run away to get space, we have to make sure we know what's enough space and what's just fleeing. If we want to, put over to Maya, if we want to be angry and vengeful about this, we can be, but eventually vengeance just burns you up inside until the fire just burns what's left and there's nothing but ash. If we want to be like Ivy, try to outthink the scenario, we probably can, but we got to look at the fact that we don't have the same resources as whoever sent that text and sent us here. I don't know if we play ball, but I don't think we sure as shit square up.
Alex, I'm going to try to make the next thing I say constructive. Are you? No. We know who sent that text. It doesn't matter in the end, really, which specific person sent it. It's the prince. And I'm trying to keep my voice very low because I know we are still outside. It is one of the Primogen. And I know it is not mine because she can't text. But they knew we were going to do this. They asked us to do this. And now we are going to be the fall guys if something happens and they need someone to blame. We were not even the executioners. We were just the axe. We are tools to them. And that is fine and normal, but it was very foolish. And I understand that your baby brain doesn't quite get those concepts yet beyond, ooh, light, shiny thing, but this is bad for all of us. So yeah, I'm gonna be entitled a little bit to my desire for revenge or fury. But thank you for your permission.
Maya, I'm going to make this absolutely crystal clear. This is my first boundary I'm putting down with you all. You will never call me a baby again. You can call me my name, Alex. You can call me Alex Scott, but you will not call me a baby.
Fine, dumbass.
Ever again. No. Let me finish, Maya. I know we're tools. Guess what? That's our lives. And I'm not saying you have to like it. Not a damn bit. What I'm saying is we have proof that we've been used. And guess what? I'm not stupid. I know that we're being used. It's called a job. And I'm not saying you have to like that either. If people want to point the finger at us and say we're the executioners, that sucks. We can figure that out. Maybe what we can do is deflect them to the people that made us tools. And if they don't want to take responsibility, then maybe that's the problem in the system, inherent in the neo-feudal state we call home. So yeah, you want to be angry? Go ahead, be angry. I love that for you. That looks slaps. But if you want to do something about it, cool. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. And don't ever call me anything other than my name again. If you continue going down this path, you're going to be so unwantable, even death's going to reject you.
It already fucking has.
I'm done. Good night. And I turn on my heels and I walk away. I don't know what's going on anymore. Apparently being thrown around like a rag doll and being the punch muffin of this group just is nothing good than just being a punch muffin. And I'm just, what good is having immortality if this is what it's supposed to be? And I walk off.
Alex, I'll follow.
4 becomes 2 pairs of 2. It's a dangerous thing to follow someone so obviously on the edge of frenzy, whether or not Alex Scott recognizes it as such. Calamity, you'll have to tread carefully.
In spite of my trepidation about being here and getting myself looped in with this group, damn it, I like the kid and I don't like seeing him so wound up. Alex.
Yeah, Cal? What's up?
I know that you're trying, and I just want you to know that.
Thank you, Cal. I know that we're all trying. I have a lot of years ahead of me. Unlike the rest of you, I'm sure you already had that training, that expertise, that grooming. I don't have that yet.
I know.
I've been given some opportunities by some people, and I need to figure out who I'm going to be and what opportunities I'm going to take. Especially if I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing it. The rest of my life. Jesus, this wordplay. So I'm going to have to go and figure something out. Because this is my family, and this is my home. But sometimes I feel like I'm just working to appease 2 narcissist moms half the time, and I don't know how to do that.
It's difficult when your strength comes in brawling and breaking and everybody else seems to be good at the politic, the talk. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here in Chicago, but you got potential. And if I can help you hone that, I'd like the chance.
I don't know if we're going to talk to PKJ. I assume we're going to at some point.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to talk to him alone first. And how that conversation goes, I think it's going to decide where my path starts again. But I want you to know that I really like that offer. I think that could be really fucking rad. But I think right now we can't be here. We can't be staying here. We got to go. All 4 of us, we got to get someplace else.
We'll figure it out. All of us. I'll reach out and I'll take Alex's hand. Just make sure you make it back to the manor tonight, okay?
Yeah, of course. Got to crash somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm feeling kind of hungry. I might go out for a bite to eat. Responsibly this time.
Be safe.
All you 3 be safe. All right. I'll see you before sunrise. Oh shit, how many hours do I have left? And I start to look at my phone. When is that even happening?
You don't have an abundance of time.
Go on. Get.
All right. I'll see you all at the mansion.
Yeah.
And with that, I kind of take a big performative sigh and walk my way through this town while I still can at night.
Let's rewind chronologically for a moment. Because while Calamity stalks off after Alex, this leaves a different situation at the exit to the tunnels. Maya, having experienced what I believe was Alex's attempt at dressing you down, and Ivy silently witnessing all of this. There are few things in this world I know for certain, but one of them is that the moment that follows does not pass silently.
When Alex is comfortably out of earshot, I just clear my throat a little loudly and say, well, that certainly was something, wasn't it?
What part?
Oh, the whole thing, really.
I'm glad that he has the wherewithal to set a boundary and ask for what he wants. I don't trust that he knows what he wants.
No. That's what I'm worried about, too. I get wanting respect, and I mean, that's something any of us want, I suppose, but obviously we are all in a position to be taken advantage of, and I just fear that he will be taken advantage of more so than the rest of us because of the position that he's in.
Then that'll be his own problem.
No, you keep saying that like it's not our problem as well. I understand that you want so desperately to be this island by yourself in the middle of nowhere, but you're not, and you haven't been for a hot minute, Maya. So maybe stop thinking about just yourself and start thinking about the good of the group for just a second.
I'm hungry.
Sure. That's fair.
And I can't fix that on my own right now. I am sure we will see Alex at the house, but right now, I cannot get the shape of everything that has happened until I fix that first. And I reach up and fix my hair and let a shared history of repressed parenting make any apologies or explanations I think I need to give to Ivy. Let's get cleaned up.
With a little bit of a grin, I just look at myself and then at Maya and say, you're the only one that needs cleaning. Let's go.
Cal, I'll leave it up to you to decide how far away you got from that conversation. It's perfectly acceptable to think that we'll be taking 3 cars back to the Duchesky Manor when the time comes.
Only one of those was mine. I will likely wander my way back to the manor. But open night air's doing me some good.
Well, then let's give Maya and Ivy the benefit of the doubt and say they will recognize that Cal is in no hurry to come skittering back to the entrance to the tunnels, and that Alex certainly isn't going to join them on the ride home. Which leaves us with 3 distinct sets of vampires eventually making their way back to the safety of the manor. The first and the second, I presume, will be the simplest. Ivy and Maya more than capable between the 2 of them of finding their way to a vehicle and then back to the Duchesky Manor. Calamity, a gangrel, is in no finer place than out on the streets, on the lakeshore, on the parks. And you've traveled more dangerous territory than this on your own. But Mr. Scott, Chicago is your city. There are parts of it you might not have felt safe traversing in a past life, but you're not that person anymore. And I imagine there's a small part of you that would love it if somebody picked a fight with you right now.
Yeah, a little bit. I would love the catharsis.
Well, unfortunately, I cannot offer you that. But I can offer you a different kind of company. Walking north from the entrance to the tunnels, you will follow Lakeshore Boulevard as it winds across the lakeshore, how it got its name. Following Lakeshore Avenue North takes you through park after park, stretches of beach, public land. At this time of night in any season, it is thinly populated, but considering the chill in the air, you won't find many people. Even the homeless who normally dot this part of town have abandoned it for shelters, or at least escaping the wind further inland. That, I suppose, is what makes the single glowing red cherry of a cigarette 30 or 40 feet ahead of you so unusual. And if that by itself doesn't raise some amount of suspicion in your brain, then the person who is smoking it will. Because this city being what it is, and Alex's view of the world being what I believe that it is, the sight of a woman, medium height, straight, perfect black hair spilling down past her shoulders to the middle of her back, a single silver bell of a stud in her nose, staring out across the lake, that is unusual.
I immediately become aware that I think I'm in my Apex outfit still with my silver brass knuckle tactical gloves. I must look like a freak. But if it's this late at night, there's a little hope in me that she's a bit of a freak too. In a camaraderie way. Just want to put that out there.
You might be more right than you think you are. There's a shower of sparks as the cigarette is flicked onto the pavement, the embers extinguished by the heel of a tall black boot. The woman turns towards you, and now the light catches appropriately across the front of her body. She's wearing a leather jacket, the collar flipped up high, the shoulders adorned with row after row of rivets. The front is open, not the entire way, down to about the mid-level, which is enough for you to realize that she's not wearing anything underneath. No, in fact, even in this chill, cold evening, you can see a long silver pendant draped down between the sides of perfectly small and pert breasts. She's smiling, and there's no one else around but you.
I look her up and down, not in any way that is meant to be lascivious or gross in nature. I'm just trying to read her body language to figure out if she wants to talk to me or if she wants a friend, whatever. And when she does turn fully to me, I know I'm pretty thick, but at least I get enough of the point to try to start a conversation. I look to her wearing my black, matte painted, reinforced tactical outfit, my gloves ready for punching, my boots ready for stomping. I wave one hand just kind of half-heartedly. Hi. It's a good night we're having. My name is Alex. What's your name?
You look her up and down, and she looks you up and down. I would posit you've never felt so surveyed in your entire life. This woman is staring into everything you are. You are being dissected as a person, as a vampire, as physics objects, literally every atom of your essence, every bond, physical and metaphysical, being measured and encoded and absorbed. She clucks her tongue. Busy night, Alex?
Yeah, I had some late night work. You know, office always follows me everywhere I go.
It's an interesting dress code your boss makes you keep. She says, now circling around you.
Okay, listen. This is in my brain. I'm saying this in my brain. Listen to me, Alex. This is your voice in your brain. The last time a very beautiful woman looked at you like this, it was because she was trying to literally eat you. Why do you keep attracting women who want to destroy you with great intent? And I'm getting the same vibe here. But I'm also kind of curious what she's up to. No, Alex, listen to yourself. This is stupid. Let's be polite. Let's get away before we get killed. So then my outside voice, I say, well, that's the funny thing. Perks of the job. I got to choose the outfit. It makes me feel strong.
You got to choose the outfit and you picked that?
BDSM Punisher is kind of my hero. So I makes me feel capable, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty capable. There's a few I-beams out in this. You know what? I didn't get your name.
No, you didn't. I understand you have plans tomorrow, but you don't have anything to do the rest of the night, do you?
Well, I had a long night at work. I was going to go grab a bite to eat and then just kind of get home on my own time. So, I mean, yes and no. Why? What'd you have in mind? In my brain again, Alex, you fucking idiot. What did you say? What did you say? You were going to leave? Leave now. But also, like, what's her angle? I'm curious what she's thinking about doing.
I'm lonely. I could use the company.
Well, I would love to help you out and give you company. I've had a really shitty day and I think I need to be alone, but I hear the church is always open. Good old Chicago Catholics, right? I'll talk to you later, but I really hope you have a good night.
I don't think you understand. What I said was, I'm lonely. And you're going to keep me company. And at this point, I'd like you to roll your willpower.
And that is a critical success. That's 5 successes.
Then I want you to try to internalize this, right, Alex? Imagine mustering up almost as much willpower as you are capable of. Think about Alex Scott in his most stubborn, powerful, strongest moment, master of his own destiny, charting your own course through the granite of history. And even that is this tiny, fragile, brittle thing which this woman reaches out with thin fingers that she places on your cheek and snaps them. And you are staring into her eyes, and there is nothing more in the world you want to do than follow her wherever, and I mean wherever she wants you to go.
Inside my head, for the past couple of weeks, ever since that one fateful night, there's been a voice. An angry voice who uses words I honestly couldn't even spell or define on an SAT test. Things like the proletariat, things like different forms of government and bodies of power that abuse such powers, that rally me to rise against them. And all I can lose is my chains. But in this moment, this voice seems to get numb, quiet, fades. And the weird thing is, once that angry, righteous voice of violence and uprisings silences, I feel peace, like in a numbing sense. Like the beast inside is also just kind of sleepy and tired. And then I can't help but look her in her eyes. And maybe if I'm being honest, down her neckline, the plunging neckline of that leather jacket with little to the imagination. And I look back in her eyes and I go, where is my manners? You can take me anywhere.
I knew you'd see it my way. Because you were a good boy, I'll give you a reward. You can call me Portia. We'll come back to Alex Scott in just a moment, but for now, let us return to Maya and Ivy. Fortunate that one of you drove here tonight, which means you won't have to risk an Uber, won't have to worry about Maya's physical condition causing any problems. So let's start there. As the click of the latch happens, Maya climbing into the passenger seat, Ivy revving up the engine, and beginning your transit home.
So are we going to talk about what happened? Or are we just going to pretend like you didn't try and diablerize Newberry?
You had to have known what I was planning on doing. You're smart.
Well, I'm sure some small part of me did. I think the other part of me didn't think you'd be so foolish. My clan is all too familiar with what happens when you try and diablerize a soul that is very strong and very old.
My clan is familiar with it as well. The trick is to be stronger.
Sometimes it's not about strength. Newberry is very tricky, obviously, as is Prince Jackson, if I'm being completely honest, but
You must be used to that.
I'm used to it within my own clan. I tend not to give too much credit to others, but clearly I've underestimated some.
I had assumed that he had something on you already because he saddled you with Alex and you seemed fine with it. This just guarantees now that he can do whatever he wants with us. And I don't think I like that.
Well, truth be told, being saddled with Alex was something that I was far from okay with. But just like you have your orders, I have mine, and one of those is to play nice within Chicago and situate myself accordingly. And if that means getting on the prince's good side, then I play the part, do what I'm told. I don't like being kept this far in the dark. I think on that, you and I are definitely in agreement.
The idea, at least in my experience, has been if you aren't smart enough to figure it out, then you don't deserve to know. And I think I'm just getting soft. I should have seen it coming.
Well, I think you got a little too wrapped up in the emotional side of things, let's call it, with Anastasia.
I wouldn't call it that.
No?
Anastasia shouldn't have existed. You and I both know that. Now she does, and we can't have Newberry exerting control from what should have been the grave. Anastasia was a warning that we needed to put him down, and now he's gone.
Have you thought that maybe you and I were the only ones who thought that she shouldn't exist? I don't believe for a second that Newberry could have gotten away with her without the prince knowing. And follow my logic here for just a minute. If Prince Jackson is the one who set us out on this course, who's to say that he's not the one who found her and pointed her in our direction? If Prince Jackson has known since he set Newberry to torpor that he was going to use us to dust him, then it stands to reason that Anastasia was just part of this plan, because how else would we have been set on this path in the first place?
Let's be honest. The Lasombra probably would have come to the conclusion that he needed to die. But you make a good point. Another one I do not like the implications of.
Again, we are in agreement.
So now Newberry is dead. Something that the prince wanted. He has 4 patsies. You can't leave the city. Alex could. Cal doesn't seem to want to.
I never know with Cal. Some days I think she'll be gone as soon as her car is ready, and then others I see the way she looks at Alex and I have no idea what to make of it.
It would be interesting to see how far she's willing to work outside of her best interest.
Isn't it always?
Whatever Cal's reasoning for staying is, why the fuck are you here still? Being stuck with you here in Chicago is probably the worst thing that's happened to me. That is an overstatement. But it's not fucking great. I don't know what Tremere bullshit your mom got up to before this, but everyone in town seems to have strong feelings about you.
Yeah, you kind of get used to it when you're part of this clan.
Oh, bullshit. Being a Tremere this is not standard Tremere on life. I've met Tremere, and none of them put up with as much fucking shit as you do. I had assumed that it was genuine disrespect for you, but truly, how many Tremere get saddled with a fucking gift of the Duchesky Manor and then can't use all of its power? How many Tremere have to simp and simper for their primogen to execute orders perfectly and then get told, oh, I didn't ask you to do that, and now you're fucked for it? Like I said, I don't like being used, but you seem to either enjoy it for some reason or you don't realize how used you are.
At this point, I stiffen because this conversation is venturing into very uncomfortable territory. I don't expect you to understand my reasons for doing things, Maya. We all have our masters and we all have our parts to play. And my part is here in Chicago, playing nice, doing everything that I have to do to just be the best little Tremere until I don't have to anymore.
Does that Kool-Aid taste good? Is there a reason you keep coming back to that? Because what you have told me, time and time again now, is I have been asked to play my part, and that part is to sit quietly and wait for someone to tell me what to do. You understand that the part you have to play has to fit into the greater piece in some way or form, and it is astounding to me how incurious you are. What part is it? Who's the conductor? What instrument are you fucking playing at this point? I have to know, because if that part is to get dusted by the SI or have a blood hunt called on you, I do not want to go down with you. And I don't think you do either.
I obviously don't have plans to get dusted by the SI or anybody else. Quite frankly, Chicago is such a small piece of my plan. Chicago's a stepping stone at best. I'm here. It's transitory. When you have forever at your fingertips, a number of years in one place, it's not that big of a deal. I'm here until Gabrielle comes back. And when she returns, she will grab me and we will leave. And then I never have to think about Chicago or the SI or Prince Kevin Jackson ever again.
And so part of your grand plan is to wait for someone to rescue you from Chicago? If you were so important to Gabrielle, why didn't she take you with her?
Because Gabrielle is a very, very important Tremere, and I don't know if you know this, but the Prime Chantry was destroyed some time back, so she's working in Europe to help build that back up.
And if I was burned out of my home, the last thing I would want to do is leave the people I trust behind. Either she thinks you're dead weight, or she knows that you're so strung along at this point, she can just leave you wherever she wishes.
No, this is what I mean. You don't understand.
You keep saying that, but I don't think you get it either. Where is Gabrielle right now?
I'd have to ask.
Okay, then what is she doing in Europe?
Important Tremere stuff.
Okay, and what does she want you to do here?
Wait for her.
So what you have just told me is, I don't know, and I'm not allowed to do anything about it. But yeah, the Tremere are famous for their inquisitive natures and their desire to look into the unknown and get answers.
Answers that I'm certain, no matter where this interrogation goes, aren't going to come tonight. If nothing else, because the full weight of Ivy's formidable faculties are now being spent on a different topic. At least, I would assume. Before we drift off to see what happened to Alex, has Maya managed to make something click, Ivy? In the past, we've had this conversation, and it's ended with that same confidence in the pyramid, in Gabrielle, in the grand plan that exists above your pay grade in terms of information, but you certainly have a role in. And if you think Maya is wrong, that's absolutely fine. But maybe you're wondering, she might be right. Well, that's fine too. But which of those things is happening right now?
There's a lot of confusion right now. I could try and explain it all the way that I have in the past. Everybody's just accepted the answers before. Nobody's ever really poked holes in the theories. I don't really know what to do with this information. There's a weird feeling in my chest as I talk about this, and it's very uncomfortable, and I don't think I like it.
No, I imagine not. We can only hope that when that feeling subsides, you will at least feel better armed.
There have to be answers, right? I just have to find them.
In general, the Camarilla would be very concerned when the La Sombra inspire the Tremere to find answers to questions they don't know. We can hope that this time goes better. But you are not the only kindred in this coterie who is experiencing a strange feeling in your chest. Mr. Scott, do you remember how you got to this apartment?
I'm in an apartment? Wait. No, I was just talking to this lovely lady by the lakeside. And so the answer is no.
I don't know if this makes it better or worse for you, but the lovely lady is still here. But you appear to have arrived at, rough math, a 10th, 12th story apartment building. It's delightfully well appointed. Your companion is lounging, Romanesque, I would say, on a couch across from you. There's a small coffee table between you, the kind that is very simple but looks incredibly expensive. Anyway, as I was saying, it's a very busy city, so many new faces. With Prince Jackson making so many plans, it's hard to keep up with everything, but that doesn't seem to be a problem that you have, is it? Little Mr. Star of the show.
No, I just got started. Tonight was a busy night, and yeah, I'm sorry. Did you say Prince? Like musician? No, you didn't mean that.
Alex, sweetie. And she smiles at you in a way that is predatory, even before the fangs. There's no mistaking her for what she is, and she is what you are.
That explains why I have no memory after we left Lakeside. Okay. Shit. So what's the game here? There's always a game. There's always a fucking game. Is it blackmail? Is it manipulation? What's going on?
Game? I'm disappointed. What is it about? No one can just be friends. Alex, I know this is going to be hard for you to believe given all the things you've experienced so far, but I'm just here to talk. You play a very important role in a city that is incredibly important to me. And I just want to know more about the prince's favorite plaything.
There is a moment in my mind, and this is so stupid, but a little like light bulb goes off that goes, oh, I'm one of his favorites. And then there's a second thought in my brain that says, how does she know about me in my connection to the prince? I don't know how common this knowledge is. I thought everything here was done in secret. So, oh boy, we're going to have to figure out how to double talk. I look at her, leaning forward, shifting my weight, getting very serious. Well, if you want to learn about Chicago, there's a wonderful library with a bunch of old maps. If you want to learn about the prince, you're going to have to ask him directly. I just had a long night of work, but I would like to know, Miss Portia, how it is that you know to look for me when you're looking for someone like that.
You are very shrewd, aren't you? Miss LaRue and Miss Lugosi taking very good care to make sure you understand how the whole society works. Everyone's out to get you all the layers of schemes. Is that what's happening here?
I mean, when is it not? Hell, I went to a party where someone hit on me as a scheme to try and, I can only imagine, fuck me to death. So I had to be saved by a friend on that one. And that was just a casual interaction. And if you're telling me that you're not having any sort of nefarious intent by just learning, again, I can show you the door to the Chicago library and give you those maps and we can do the wiki searches together. Love to do that, to be in your company. But if I'm being honest, I feel a little stranger danger here. And if you're gonna get anything out of me, I'm gonna need to get something out of you, like a straightforward, honest answer. What are you doing, and how do you know about me?
I'm trying to help you, Alex. I know the story of your embrace. I know the people you were entrusted to. I know what the prince allowed you to do on his behalf. And before you get scared at that statement, I want you to know that I approve. Everyone in the city is going to be grateful for what you did tonight. But the city can't run on the prince's will alone. You, more than most people, are positioned to tell me what's making him tick. Did he let something slip? Did he reveal anything about his intentions? Are his plans going according to plan? In exchange for that, well, I can say I'm not going to be as forward as Annabelle. She's easier to get into than community college. But I'm sure I can come up with something that you find valuable.
Well, I think that's where I'm going to be your first disappointment of the night and say that I genuinely don't remember. I know that I met the prince. We had some very wise words about loyalty, servitude, honor, duty, if you want to call it that. But at the end of the day, I think we were partially manipulated. I don't know. Pretty sure that's commonplace here. All I know is a job had to get done. Someone pulled some strings. We did the job. And if I knew more information, I'm sure you could just snap your fingers again and get it from me. But again, I don't really know anything more than that.
You're right. I could. But this is an exercise in trust, Alex. I don't want to take it from you. I want you to give it to me because you understand that this is a mutually beneficial relationship.
Okay. I think you're right. I think it's about time that this community, this kingdom started to initiate some trust, reach across the aisles, maybe even have some, this is such a rare thing, some straightforward and constructive fucking communication. So again, I'll say this because I'm not trying to play coy at this point. I want to help you, Portia. I want to help you help the prince. I want to make sure the prince doesn't want to kill me. And all things coincide to one thing. What happened tonight? It was pretty badass. But I genuinely don't know. What I can guess from what I've heard, that guy sucked. Big time. People don't like him. They needed a third source to get at it. Whether it was through manipulation, coercion, or pure voluntary affect, we went down there and we did the thing. I went down there and did the thing. And there was a guard there too, the big spooky bitch. And it happened. And I'm sure that guard was put there by another person who knew what we were there to do and knew what was going on. You may have to go up a step above me on this one. I don't know if any of that's been helpful to this point.
No, it's been perfectly helpful. And because we're friends, I will in turn offer myself to you. What's something that you want to know? Something that's been kept from you? How can I help?
I'm still so ignorant. I don't know what I need to know. There's so much. I don't think I've ever really met, well, maybe aside from the sire, if you can call it that, I don't think I've ever met a Bruja before. And maybe that's what I need to do, is to meet the Brujas to figure out who I am. I'll tell you what, why don't we say in a week's time or sometime down the road, we'll meet for dinner and I'll tell you then. And then maybe we can continue to help each other out.
And that presumes that I'm willing to let you go out into the world with this information, knowing that we met. Knowing that your primogen might reach into that gorgeous little brain of yours and pluck this information out of it. It's such a shame you have Bruja blood in you. Traced down from him, no doubt. But that by itself isn't disqualifying.
Well, I should say that there are people expecting me this evening. Well, this night before the sun rises. There are people expecting me. If I don't show up, they will get worried. And eventually, they may start looking into it. That may not be such a wise idea.
Oh, I'm very much not worried about that.
In the back of my head, I was like, shit. Stay confident, Alex. Stay confident. Okay. Well, hey, just putting that out there. Thought you should be warned that maybe making sure I don't get home safely might not be the best idea. But if you're not worried about that, then again, I can only help you if I'm in one piece. And if this happened once, this kind of thing is probably going to happen more than once. So if we keep meeting, we can keep becoming friends.
Oh, no, you misunderstand me. I'm not worried because your friends are going to think you've gone missing. They're going to see you tonight. I'm not worried because by the time that happens, you won't have any recollection of this conversation. I would like to meet you again, though, Alex. And I would like to give you a gift before you depart. Not information, of course. I'm always willing to share with you, should you find a question you feel is worth asking. But you strike me as the kind of man who understands the value of power. Is that not the frustration lurking under that furrowed brow of yours right now, that everyone around you is so much stronger than you are, and you're just a little bitty thing at the bottom of the pyramid.
I don't know. I was always told growing up that strength is better if you come by it naturally through hard work, good old fashioned grit, and American Midwest determination. But if I was to choose this power, how would I get it? What would it do to me?
What would it do to you? I suppose the easiest way to say it is that it would fill you with the strength of ages. Take some of what is mine into yourself. As for how you get it, all that takes is a kiss.
Storyteller, I have been learning as much as I can in a small amount of time frame. Have I ever gone over with Ivy or Maya or Calamity any idea of blood bonds or boons at this point? Is this something that Alex would recognize?
Yes, absolutely. Ivy being Tremere with her relationship with the blood bond, that would have come up at some point. The particulars, of course, are going to defy you in a myriad ways, but you understand at the basic level that drinking the blood of another vampire creates a supernatural link of fidelity. You do inherit some of that person's power, and depending on the strength of their blood, that might be tremendous power indeed. But it does come with a cost.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but every time I seem to find just an absolutely killer, attractive woman, they always seem to want to take a piece of me in a very literal sense. And while I thank you for this offer, because Lord knows whatever life is still in me is screaming to kiss you, I'm kind of tired of being taken advantage by pretty women with power already. So I'm going to say thank you for your offer, but I'd like to go home now.
I want you to think very hard about this decision, Alex, because you're right. This does take a piece of you. But everyone you've met in this city and everyone you will meet in this city will also take a piece out of you. The difference here is that I'm giving something back. You can pay fealty to the prince and in exchange get a costume. You can hitch your wagon to Ivy LaRue and in exchange get the occasional lecture. You can pal up with Maya Lagasse and debate humanity together until the sun rises on your freshly saved soul. And what is any of that going to do for you the next time you face a werewolf or the next time a vampire finds you in a hospital? So many people have asked things of you so far. Alex, what have they given you?
They've given me the one opportunity to be myself as I am, even with powers I wasn't born with, but I'm given the opportunity to be me. And yeah, that may come with people calling me stupid. That may come with people telling me I'm an idiot, I'm weak, I'm pathetic. Maybe that comes with people telling me that I'm not good enough. Maybe that comes with people telling me my loyalties are going to be scattered. But at the end of the day, it comes with the freedom of knowing it's still mine. It's still me. And not, I don't know, not a puppet. Look, you're right. This power could help me out a lot. I just met you, Portia. I don't know if being bound to you is something that is going to be safe for me, especially considering that, like a wise man once said, you can only serve one master. I can't serve three.
That was very brave of you, Alex. I suppose, given what's about to happen, I can be more forward with you than I am with most. Annabelle, Rosa, they took my offer. Jason Newberry didn't.
Okay, so he didn't take your offer. Then what do you mean? And then what did you do to him? What happened?
What did I do to him? What did you do to him?
I think that's why we're here, and I think you already know. So you're saying that's going to happen to me?
No. No, I'm saying that I make a very powerful friend and a very terrible enemy.
Yeah. All of you are very powerful friends and enemies. But okay.
Rest easy, Alex.
Yeah. A couple of thoughts start clicking together in my head, understanding how much she is aware of. And I think the greatest problem that I'm having is I never am sure if I can just trust that people know things because they're quote unquote powerful, or if they're powerful and that allows them to know things. It's a circular argument, but the point I'm trying to get at is how much does she know because she's strong, and how much does she know because she's in control of those things, those texts, those maneuvers, minutia. And as I'm having that thought, I can't hide the understanding on my face as I look up to her, eyes go wide, and I can feel my lips purse and my finger hang in the air as I'm trying to say, it was you.
Portia can watch the wheels of this mental clock tick one by one, each of the teeth of the gears interlocking. And were you in a third-person perspective, you could see the excitement in her eyes as she watches all the puzzle pieces slide together. And in that moment where it clicks for you, and your finger reaches up, she smiles, raises 2 fingers to her lips, presses them to hers, and then presses them to yours. It's going to be okay, Alex. But for now, you need to forget. And then you're standing outside the Duchesky Manor. That was a good feed. A late night jujitsu club, the kind of people who think that being a man means fighting in the cold at 4 a.m. And what do you do but go in, the new guy in town, show, find someone, rough him up a little bit of vampire power, take what you want afterwards. God, you feel good. Nothing like a good meal to take your mind off what happened in those tunnels.
Feel so powerful. God, I don't know who it was. I must have taken a chunk out of. He must have been on something. Oof, talk about full gear ahead. Jeez, that dude was not kidding about the trend. God damn. I could fight 10 werewolves. But we're home now. We're home. We should just kind of go to bed and just celebrate today in our head. Today went well. It was so perfect. I mean, it was awkward, but it was perfect. Yeah.
Big damn hero Alex Scott arriving home.
Alex Scott, more like Apex Scott. Am I right? Of course I am. Damn, it feels good to be home.
Which leaves only one vampire unaccounted for. Calamity, for better or worse, no beautiful, scantily dressed women on your commute. But it's not all bad news. Ivy got the first text message that will not be the last communique of the evening. You don't strike me as the kind of person who has a cheery ringtone, so we'll say that's the old Nokia default that comes emanating out of your pocket. The number you don't recognize, but there's context enough in the message to let you know what has happened. A simple, excellent work, and then a picture of your car. That's damn good body work. Even in a cell phone picture, you can tell that, ooh, yeah, that's good work.
Oh, thank God.
There's a message below the picture with an address. It says you're free to pick it up, quote, after your thing tomorrow, end quote.
I'll respond back with simply heard and received.
To say whether that message goes anywhere at all. You don't get a response, either because Rosa feels it inappropriate to send you one, the paranoia of a vampire in a Second Inquisition world, or maybe it was just a one-time number. In any case, it's all come together. You've accomplished your goal. The money will be wired, the rumors spread of your great successes, and then it's nothing but the highway of your choosing as you put Chicago in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
You don't sound as happy as I thought you might.
Doesn't much matter, does it? I got a job to do. I got road to travel, pavement to put behind me.
Pardon the comparison, but it sounds like you're doing a little bit of an Ivy LaRue.
What makes you say that?
Just drawing a connection. Each of you keen to ascribe to fate, to the order of the universe, to the way things are, rather than looking deep into your own motivations. For Ivy, oh, it doesn't matter. It's just the pyramid. For you, oh, it's just the road. A handy little way to not engage with whatever emotions are lurking beneath the surface.
What do you want me to say?
Start with the truth. There's no one here but you and me. You don't have to worry about being strong for Alex. You don't have to worry about being cold and collected with Ivy. You're alone in the city, pavement under your feet and the wind of the lake through your hair. You can have whatever thoughts you want. But for someone whose entire existence, as I understand it, is predicated on being strong and alone, you are doing a whole lot of waiting. You're doing a whole lot of hesitating. I just wonder why that is.
I spent decades in that car, driving from city to city, from barony to praxis, beholden to nobody. And it's been fine, and it's been it. And I don't know what might happen if I try to reach for something else.
The certainty of, I won't say unhappiness, but certainly loneliness in the life Calamity Madden, as a legend, has carved out for herself, weighed against the risk of growing attached, of planting your feet. I understand. Well, if nothing else, that's not a decision you have to make in the next 15 minutes or even the next 15 hours.
No, for now, we've got a debrief to deal with.
Indeed. It's a bit funny being called to court by someone who used to be more of an equal, more of a friend.
Jerk.
Power changes people, they say. We'll see if that remains true for Kevin Jackson, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Back to the Duchesky Manor. One last night. We know Alex has arrived earlier. I'm sure you can hear him bouncing excitedly off the walls upstairs. Ivy, I expect, given her conversation with Maya in the car, will have retreated to the privacy of her study, either to think about what Maya spoke about, or to drown those thoughts in something else. But as I understand it, there is one Kindred who is waiting for you. Is that correct, Miss Lagasse?
I seem to be on tour.
I have a distinct memory of there being something you were rather intent on catching up with Calamity about. And now it seems you'll have your chance, waiting as you are, like a displeased parent, waiting for someone who's broken curfew to return. Regardless of the mood, here we are. We'll say that Calamity enters the front door, Maya sitting on a chair nearby.
How was your walk?
Enlightening. Excuse me.
Not just yet.
Yes, Miss Lagasse.
Do you have another meeting with Miss Hernandez?
What's it to you?
You seemed awful rattled after the first one. I just wanted to make sure you were in an emotionally prepared state for another one.
I just had an ancient Malkavian push his slimy little fingers into some of the worst moments of my life and pluck at them like they're fucking guitar strings. So Do with that information what you will.
Oh, so then you will be in a perfectly suited place for what we have to talk about next.
What is it that we have to talk about, Maya?
What did you talk about with Rosa? Because I have a guess, but I want to hear it in your own words.
Here's the thing. As much as I have enjoyed my time here, that has been predicated on my ability to leave at a point of my choosing. Unfortunately, sharing information given in confidence by the Privilege of Chicago will make my exit far more difficult than it needs to be.
I don't know about that. Interesting, though. I'm surprised you went on this little adventure at all, considering how high of risk it was to you. And now you've given them the tools to keep you around longer. Seems like a net negative for you.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Good thing we're not going to die anytime soon.
Why do you care?
Because I'm trying to stay alive. The more I know about the shape of the machinations around me, the better informed I am when things come to kill me. You came back pretty fucked up from the fight with the werewolves. And not just werewolf fucked up. Cal, you have a glass face and you are a bad liar.
I told you what happened. We both did. Flyboy decided to fuck around, and he found out.
A thin blood getting the best of 3 kindred. One of whom built like a brick shithouse?
A thin blood with connections to an organization that is known for the tracking and termination of our kind.
I hate that name. The Second Inquisition feels like salt in the wound for my kind. And that's exactly what I mean. I'm trying to stay alive. I think you and I both know that there is a liability here. And you're choosing to stay with her.
For now.
Longer still now that we've done what we've done. I figure if we're going to be stuck with each other a little longer, might as well get the shape of the people I'm with. One incredibly incurious Tremere, and one very naive Brua.
And
I'm trying to decide if you are stupid or naive.
I may be backwoods, Miss Lagasse, but don't make the mistake of calling me stupid.
Then why stay?
Because I don't have a car right now. Point of fact.
And you've gotten by this long on one car alone? There are plenty of ways out of a city.
Thing has sentimental value. I ain't leaving it here.
Cal, I know your type, and I will make this easy for you. Are we talking about the SI, or are we talking about someone in particular? And not just Flyboy.
I understand that kindred like you pull at threads, poke at weak spots, pull people apart whenever you get the chance.
Not whenever. I'm sometimes fond of crochet.
I know that what was discovered in my meeting is something that I was told to keep wraps on at the expense of my own hide. Awful hard to get the hell out of Dodge when there's a blood hunt on your ass.
This can't be the only time you've ever been threatened.
Not usually so directly.
Something about a member of our coterie so important that if you told one of us, your life would be forfeit. Well, that just seems unfair to the rest of us. Now, if I may, Watson, you probably know all your own secrets, and if it's something involving the SI and something this bad, I can't imagine you would still be in town full stop. And Alex doesn't want us to keep calling him a baby, but he is still quite young, so unless it's his lineage, that's the problem. So it's either Ivy or it's me. And in both cases, I think I deserve to know.
Calamity, she's got you a little bit. Suppose the question for you, is it really breaking your promise to Rosa to tell Maya something that Maya already knows? Or are you more of a letter of the law kind of kindred?
Point of fact, I don't trust Miss Lagasse any farther than I can throw her, which, considering how far I could probably throw her, is saying something. I have no way of knowing if she would let this information slip if it meant saving her own hide. And I can run. I can always run. I've been running. It'll catch up with me eventually. So I will look at Miss Lagasse and tell her simply, it sounds like you have a lot of pieces and a lot of knowledge, and you're just looking for confirmation.
I want to know the shape of the machine before I get crushed in its gears.
I rather like my unlife, Miss Lagasse. It's been a little chaotic, it's been a little messy, but it's been mine. What's going to keep you from putting my ass in the fire to keep yours out of it?
If my suspicions are correct, then you become more useful to me than Ivy is. And that's good for me. It also means that whatever trouble you're in, I can help you out. And that's good for you. And if you can't see the logic in any of that, I can always make a pinky promise, and I will extend my pinky out to Cal.
I will stare at that pinky, raise an eyebrow. Shit. She's in a database.
What kind of database?
I don't know. I don't have the fucking acumen to know what kind of shit the U.S. government collects. But Flyboy had it. And Flyboy was funneling it to his fucking people in the SI.
Never good when the government starts keeping tabs on people's interests and businesses when they haven't done anything wrong yet. You know there's a word for it.
For what?
The Second Inquisition calls people like Ivy, well, all of us. But the ones they know of, they call them blank bodies.
And Ivy LaRue is a known blank body. Happy.
See, that wasn't so hard.
Fuck you, Maya. Now, unless there's anything else that you want to try and two-step your way through in my brain, I think I'm going to turn in for the night.
I'm good, and it looks like you could use some beauty sleep.
Look in the mirror, sweetheart. Oh, shit. I'll turn around and walk away.
And so the most recent of our evenings slips away, once more surrendering its grip and allowing the sun to reclaim its place in the sky. There's information aplenty to digest, but precious little time to do so, because you know tomorrow when you wake, it is the court of Chicago that beckons you. The prince knows. As for what he stands to do with that information, that's a story for another night.
You've been listening to the All Night Society, an actual play podcast brought to you by Queen's Court Games. If you've enjoyed our stay, consider supporting us on Patreon for access to exclusive art, audio, and private fan-only games. For more content, follow us on Facebook
Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok at Queens Court Games, or on Twitter at Queens Court RPG.